You see, first of all, we have to understand what is our right. Allah will not catch you for your right. What is right? You see, in the Quran, Allah says that on the day of judgment, people will be on the right side, on the left. It says right, Ayman, and left. So, right means what is right in the nearness of Allah. So, there are certain do's and don'ts mentioned in the Quran, that is your right of a believer. If a believer follows the right mentioned in the Quranic ayahs, that is your right. For example, do you understand do's and don'ts? I give you, for example, to say good to mankind, that's the right. That's the responsibility that's your right. I always do good for mankind. For what? Because Allah says so in the ayahs. So it becomes my right. So it says to have good behavior with your parents. So that is my right. So if I do against that, then I have to do all this what I'm saying. This ayah. You follow what is your right? If your right is what the Quran says about the do's and the don'ts, that is your right, becomes your right. This is my right. So this is wrong and right. This is the word in Arabic is right and wrong. So what I practice the right of the Allah's ayahs, the do's and the don'ts of Allah's ayahs, that is the right, my right. So now it says to be moderate in your walk, to be quick in forgiveness, to measure full, and just give you an example. To spend something from whatever you love most, to hold for forgiveness, to seek clarification against charge, to give charity, so to make corrections, to eat lawful food, to perform hajj. So there are so many things and do's and don'ts. So that is your right. That means this I have to perform and practice. So Allah says Allah will not catch you. Like for example, I have to say good to people, right? And I jokingly say something bad to people, but I didn't meant it. So Allah says Allah will not catch you with your nonsensical, ungrammatical talk. Means it was nonsensical, it doesn't make sense, you are not making sense out of it. I said something which doesn't make sense. Ungrammatical means I didn't mean it, in other words. So he says he will not catch you for your nonsensical, ungrammatical talk in your right. Your right. And he will catch you with what you fastened. Tied the knot in your right. That you make sure you have made a knot. That yes, I will be bad to this guy. When Allah says good, say good. You start saying bad and you meant it. Which was not right basically. You're right, should have not done it. Now for that Allah says, in that condition you are right. And the atonement and amendment correction is the feeding of 10 needy person from an average scale of what you feed to your family. This is very important. If I am, suppose I provide nourishment of a higher status to my family, so if I have done something wrong, now I have to provide the food to the needy is the average scale what I feed to my family, not some dal roti. Some, what do you say in English? Who knows? You English, you know. What is dal? Lentil. Pulses and bread. And you are eating chicken and mutton and fish. And for other guys, or you are giving little, no, you have to provide the food and high standard of an average scale. What you eat, if you go against if you have broken the right, you make a knot in your right. So now you have to do what you have to feed the 10 needy person from an average sale, what you feed your family. 1. Then you guard them with clothes, what you wear. Not from lighthouse. From a standard of you wear. Uniform kind of, or liberate a free slave. Or liberate a free slave. Then whosoever does not find all this, then fast for 3 days. Now you will be able to fast. Now you want to fast for 3 days. That's the easy way out. Otherwise, it's a more expensive, point. That is the atonement, amend, correction of your right when you take an oath that I will not say bad again. I give you an example. If I have to say good to people, I have to be good to my parents. And if I became bad, So now you have to fast for 3 days, or give food and nourishment of a 10 average people, 10 people, needy persons of an average scale what you eat, or you give them, clothe them. Otherwise you fast for 3 days. That is an atonement, correction of your right when you take an oath and preserve your right. Because preserving means that you do not do wrong again. You keep and say, I will not be bad to my parents, and then I fast for 3 days, and then again you are bad. Then preserve your right that you should not do it again. Likewise, Allah clarifies His eyes, signs for you so that you may be thankful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you must understand, I gave you one example. This ayat is full of your wrongs. If this ayat is explaining you all the right that you practice, and if you go against that right, you have to fast for 3 days. So this is an ongoing, continuous process. And I'm asking anybody can raise the hand who has been fasting beyond Ramadan. That he understood that I've been doing wrong, now I was doing right, then I did wrong. Meaning I was establishing the salah and I didn't establish the salah, then I don't have to establish that, I have to fast for 3 days. I was not doing good to my parents, became bad, then I fast for 3 days. How many people in the audience are doing it? Believe me, this is the I've been doing it, and I'm asking you and I'm clarifying you that this is the most important ayah, that all your right that says in the Quran, you have to know them, and then you make sure that if you do it wrong, you have to fast for 3 days, minimum, if you don't have money. Otherwise you provide. So this is a fast which is an ongoing, continuous process all your life. You can never be fat person. Because you have done so many wrongs, believe me. It is not the only month of Ramadan, you fast for one month of Ramadan, 1 year. There are many fasts. This ayat catches you of all your wrong, of your fasting and tiding and not. Backbiting. Continues your backbiting, believe me. Men and women both. Easily they are backbiting as for nothing. Allah doesn't say anything. He is asking you not to backbite, investigating. So many ayahs I can tell you. I can tell you number of ayahs which people are not practicing, and for every that you have to fast for 3 days. There will be hardly a day you can eat normally. If you want to be a really believer in the nearness of Allah. Believe me. You will keep, this I'm going wrong, this I'm doing wrong, deliberately you're fasting knots and knots and knots. So now you go back. If you go back, you have to fast for 3 days minimum. Otherwise, if you're a rich guy, keep on feeding the poor. And keep on clothing on an average scale. What you eat, not lentils. Pulses, not pulses. Because you are not eating pulses. You're throwing it to the animals. So my ladies and gentlemen, this ayat is the basic ayat that a person should know, that where did I went wrong, so I have to make sure that I did wrong. So 3 days for fast, I have to fast. And Allah says fasting is better, always says. The first ayat I read. In comparison with charity and other things, He says fasting is better for you. And people, believe me, people do not want to fast. If they are healthy also, they don't want to fast. So this is how you improve your this thing. I just want ayat, then I end my lecture. Surah Al-Ahzab 33 and 35. In Quran, there is a word tayyib means good, and khabis means bad. Good means a good intent in life. A person who has a good intent in life, that is tayyib. And there is a khabis person, and in English language it means who has an evil intent on for other person, evil intent, always looking at people's faults and finding faults and having a bad intention for other person. He's a khabis man. And there is a tayyib means who's always looking for good in others and for him also. That's a tayyib. So what is the descriptive behavior of a tayyib person, a good person, is mentioned this whole ayat. Al-Ahzab 33 and 35. Innal muslimina wal muslimat والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصابرين والصابرات والخاشعين والخاشعات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. Surely the submitting Muslim men and the submitting Muslim women and the believing men and the believing women and the devout men and the devout women and the truthful men and the truthful women and patient men and patient women and humble men and humble women and men who give charity and women who give charity, men who fast and women who fast, and men who guard their private parts and women who guard their private parts, and men who remember Allah a lot and women who remember Allah a lot. For them Allah has prepared forgiveness and a mighty wage. So the ayat that means for good men there is a good women. You can wrote down is Surah Nur 24 and ayat 26. So now the question is, in this ayah I just want to establish one point, and that is these are the character traits of a human being to be good in this life. You have to submit to Allah as a man and woman. You have to believe in the eyes of Allah as a man and woman. Then you have to be devout to Allah, men and women. Then you have to be truthful to yourself. Not only to Allah, you have to be truthful to yourself in the nearness of Allah. And you have to have patience when you struggle for Allah's ayahs or you govern your personality by Allah's ayahs. There are barriers. There are shaitan brings barriers. Then you have to have patience. And then you have to be humble for Allah. And humble for, this is all I'm telling you, humble for this. And they also give charity. And he also fasts, as mentioned in the Quran, so many mistakes. He's keeping continuously fasting. And he's guarding their private part, men and women. And remembers Allah a lot. This is the personality character trait of a good man, whose intent is good for himself and others. And that is tayyab. In Arabic, taba, tayyab, good. And khabis is a person who is the exactly opposite, who is always looking at evil intent for others. Mischievous person. So this is the behavior that we have to attain to. That is the purpose of lectures, of this whole lecture. All I have discussed, if there is any questions, you can come and ask, clarify. I end this. Thank you.
Jazakallah, Brother Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, now I will open the floor for the question and answers. The most important thing is that your questions should be pertaining to the topic. No other question will be accommodated. And I will start from the ladies.
Can women fast during their menstruation period?
No. I will explain to you. Actually, there's an ayat in the Quran regarding menstruation. And that I will read for you in Surah Al-Baqarah 2 and ayat 222. You can write down Surah Al-Baqarah 2 and ayat 222. And it says, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ قُلْ هُوَ ذَا فَاعْتَزِلُوا النِّسَاءَ فِي الْمَحِيضِ وَلَا تَقْرَبُوهُنَّ حَتَّى يَطْهُرْنَ فَإِذَا تَطَهَّرْنَ فَأْتُوهُنَّ مِنْ حَيْثُ أَمَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ التَّوَّابِينَ وَيُحِبُّ الْمُتَطَهِّرِينَ. And they question you about the menstruation, say it is a hurt and anxiety. So detach the woman in the menstruation and you do not go near them until they are purified. Then come to them from Allah, from where Allah has ordered you. So Allah loves those who return and He loves those who are purified. Now we must understand, her question is that can women fast during menstruation? Now we cannot call menstruation a sickness because Allah says it's a hurt. They are questioning you about the menstruation, say it is a hurt or anxiety, physical pain and some. But it says that they are not purified. Physical purification and psychologically they are not purified during those periods. So now what is the purpose of fast? Is to improve their taqwa, to take guard. Okay? So now Allah says in the Quran, there is one more ayat, Surah Al-Waqi'ah 56 and ayat 77, 78 and 79. إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ لَا يَمَسُّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ. Surely it is indeed a Quran reading honorable, hidden in a book, in a kitab, writing or a book. None can touch it except those who are purified. So there is a period of time that women are not purified because of this Allah's creation. Allah made them. It's not wrong. Allah has made them like that. They are not purified. So apart from men not going near, that is all right. But the question, they cannot touch the essence of the Quranic ayat. They cannot touch it, the Quranic essence, until they get purified. Similarly, men are not also purified. Men, there are times men's psyche is not purified, or they are also in junub, in a condition they are not purified, so they cannot touch the essence of the Quranic ayahs. So the question is, your question again, I am coming back to this. And then Allah says that if you are not purified, you can't touch the book. You can't touch the essence, meaning not physical book. This is, I can touch, any woman can touch this book. The essence in the book, you cannot touch it because of not purified. So now you can, so you comes into in a condition of that the word I use, encircled or enclosure. So what you do is either you know, but it can be removed after 7 days. It will be removed after 7 days. Then you fast. For that period you cannot fast. But after the periods are over, you can fast, but it is not a sickness directly. Remember this. You cannot call a sickness, because Allah says you are, in sickness the word is mariz. Mariz, you understand this word, mariz? So it's not sickness, but you are hurt and anxiety is going on and you are not purified. And the purpose of Allah's ayahs is to take guard. When you fast, you guard yourself. You cannot guard yourself, the beginning you are not purified. So you can afterwards, but there are some women who have got continuous problem. So if they are in continuous problem, then they are that condition, encircled and enclosure. So they will not fast at any time and they will not pray at any time. But we are talking about those women who will, the days are over, they can fast. And I think that is a practice in the world. When in the month of Ramadan, they leave the fast, and when they complete the fast in the other days. Okay? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you explain the occurrence and the purpose of night of evolution, Laylatul Qadr?
Laylatul Qadr, the night of evaluation or the night of Laylatul Qadr, it comes in the month of Ramadan. So, but I have to refer to you ayahs. What are those ayahs? You can note down if you want to note down, so that, yeah. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2, first you write down the references, then I will discuss. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2 and ayah 185, first ayah, remembrance, then you write down Surah Dukhan 44 and ayah 1 to 6, and then Surah Al-Qadr 97, Surah 1 to 5, and then there is a Surah Al-Fajr 89, 1 to 4. Now I will discuss these ayahs, explaining to you the Laylatul, what is Laylatul Qadr means. Layl means night and Qadr means evaluation. Some translate as power also, but Qadr means evaluation also, night of evaluation. Now it says Al-Baqarah 2 and ayah 185, just I read in my lecture also, Shahru Ramadan ladhi unzila fil Quran. Ramzan is the month in which the Quran was revealed. Hudal linnas wa bayyinatin min al-huda wal furqan faman shahida minkum ash-shahra falyasumhu. Ramzan is the month in which the Quran was sent down, a guidance for mankind and a clarification from the guidance and from the criterion. So whoever is witnessed that month, then he should fast. Now, first of all, we come to know that the revelation of the Quran is in the month of Ramadan. That means that the month of Ramadan, the Quran was revealed. Your question is of one night of evaluation. One night of evaluation, Laylatul Qadr. So it should be coming, revelation should be in the month of Ramadan. Now I read from 44, 1 to 6, it says, Wal Kitabil Mubin. Wal Kitab, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatim mubarakah. Inna kunna mundirin. Surely we have revealed it in the blessed night, and surely we are the warners. So in this Quran, Allah says that Allah surely inna anzalnahu fi laylatil mubarakah. Now mostly people do not know this ayat. They know Laylatul Qadr. It says Laylatul Mubarakah. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil mubarakah. In your mind it is Laylatul Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil barakah. You see, the Quran speaks of the same phrase. There it is used as Qadr. Here it is used as Barakah. People know that surah. So 96 surah. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr wa ma adraka ma laylatul. They know this, but they don't know Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr inna kunna minal munzirin. So there is an ayah, Surah Hamim or Al-Dukhan, 44 Surah 1 to 6. It is describing the same night what happens, what is the purpose. So it says, surely we have revealed Inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakah. Surely we revealed it in the blessed night, and surely we are the warners. So the night is one, but the month is Ramadan. Because Ramadan is in which the Quran is sent down. But here the night is one. What happened in the night? Fiha yufraqu kullu amrin hakim. In that night, every order of wisdom is distinguished or differentiate what is right and wrong. Because you are hearing the ayahs, the wisdom is being revealed by in the Quran. When you listen to the Quranic ayat, even now also, whenever you listen to the Quranic ayat, the order of Allah of wisdom is distinguished. What is right or furqan? Yufraqu kulla amrin hakim. What is right, what is wrong? In the true sense, Quran is the criteria to judge between right and wrong, to clarify what is right and wrong. So in this, Allah said, in that night, every order of wisdom is distinguished because it is being revealed in the month of Ramadan. And if you are pondering after day fasting, you are fasting in the daytime, and in the time you are listening to the ayahs, so maybe the ayahs unveil to you the order of Allah wisdom is distinguished to you. That's the purpose. Amram min indina inna kunna mursilin. Order from our nearness. Surely we are the senders. Allah says we are sending this, and that is our order. Rahmatan min rabbika. It is a mercy from your Lord. Innahu as-samir alim. Surely he is the listener and knower. In that night, this is explained. Okay? Now further you go to Surah Layl Qadr. Now I will read that. Here it says, the first, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. Surely we have revealed in the night of evaluation. Wama adraka ma laylatul qadr. Wama adraka ma laylatul qadr. And what you can perceive, what that night of evaluation is. Laylatul qadri khairum min alfi shahr. Night of evaluation is better than 1,000 months. What happens? Tanazzalul malaikatu wa ruh fiha bi'idni rabbihim min kulli amr. From every order, the angels and the ruh, the spirit, is sent down in it with the permission of the Lord. Salam, hiya hatta matla'il fajr. Peace until the rise of Fajr dawn. Now in this ayah, in the previous ayah we understand that it is a barakat, blessed night. Here Allah questions and explains that surely we have revealed this Quran, of course, or the book, in the night of evaluation. You can evaluate, think, ponder, evaluation. And then he says, what you perceive, what that night of evaluation is. Laylatul Qadri, wama adraka ma laylatul qadr. What you can perceive, what that night of evaluation is. Then he explained, Laylatul Qadri khairum min alfi shahr. It is better, Laylatul evaluation is better than for 1,000 months. Now, whenever we ponder on something in the month of Ramadan, last 10 nights you are sitting in the itikaf, which you are devoted, and you are pondering, evaluating the ayahs of Allah. So if suppose the essence is this, Tanazzalul malaika wa ruh, the angels and the spirit. Spirit is, what is the spirit? Yasalunaka ni ruh qul ruhu min amri rabbi. They ask you about the spirit, the essence, comes from the order of your Lord. So whenever the essence or the spirit is clear to you in that night of power, because the angels are sent and the rules, the Spirit descends by the order of by the order, by the permission of his Lord, So what happens the moment you understand the essence, the spirit of any message in that night of evaluation, it is better than how many? 1,000 months. It is better than 1,000 months, meaning 83 years. If I ponder myself any other thing than that, like eating of pig. Eating of swine pig is one example, is not good for health. Or drugs are not good for health. If I do research, it may take years to come to that conclusion, but Allah reveals in the night of power, do not eat, I don't eat. See, its essence is clear to me, and I believe in practice, from the eyes of Allah, it is better than 1,000 months, 83 years. You do research,